Alright, so we got a lot of feedback, both good and bad, from the Why You Can't Find a Man video that we posted about a month ago. I got a lot of people that left comments on my Facebook page. I got you know, some people a little angry, some people totally agree. One thing I noticed is that a lot of the positive feedback that I got was inboxed rather than left as an actual comment on the video. A lot of women liked it and said, keep doing what y'all doing. You know, it's a good dialogue starter and all of that stuff, but it was mostly inbox stuff. A lot of women didn't want to put themselves out there or put their friends out there because they knew it applied to either themselves or a lot of their friends. Another thing I noticed is that a lot of the women that hated it or were like, you know, fuck y'all, this is bullshit, why, how could you do this and all of this, was all single women. It was women that can't find a man, mad because we talking about why they can't find a man. Rather than looking into it and seeing if there's some truth in there to be had, they wanted to be outraged and all of that. And I got a feeling the same ones probably gonna continue to not find a damn man.
Definitely. That's just the way it go. I had a lot of same like you, like the people who had negative or not so good things to say was they were single. Yeah. So
you know,
it's nature of the beast.
I'm not apologizing. I was talking to black single women. I'm not talking to any white women. Sorry, unfortunately they get it. It is our single black lonely ass women who don't get the picture. Those are the ones that are sitting up there sucking up Krispy Kremes, eating bonbons, worshiping Oprah. Those are the women that I am talking about in this video. And we are later going to show you how to get a man if you listen.
A lot of things we're gonna talk about, you know, with this video. Since we talked about why you can't find a man, I think it's only right that we talk about how you can find a man. A lot of women, you know, sometimes say, who are y'all to say this and how you gonna generalize all women? But me personally, I think if you got a bunch of cats that, you know, normally would be considered a good catch, and you a single woman, it might make sense, even if you're not a single woman, it might make sense to listen to what they got to say, at least hear them out, rather than listening to a whole bunch of single women.
Cackling bras.
Exactly, exactly. So I think one thing that Ed mentioned, and you kind of expand on it, is stop waiting. A lot of women are waiting to find a man, waiting on this and waiting on that till the situation is just right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of, if you look at the black community, you got a lot of women who don't even try to get into a relationship until they're done basically doing everything that they plan on doing in life. You get me? So, you know, look at a white woman or Asian woman, Hispanic woman, Indian woman. In college, they usually have found who they're going to marry, even if they haven't married them yet, right? Mm-hmm. But if a black woman typically wants to say she wants to get her master's or her doctorate, a lot of times she's not even looking for a guy at all until she's got her master's or her doctorate. So for instance, instead of getting together early, working together and building together, you know, they want to do it all on their own, and then they're 28, 29, 30, they got their degrees in order, but it's a little too late now, you know? Well, it's not too late, but now that pressure's on. So instead of you being able to date and be cool and kick it with people, you're asking questions that really shouldn't be asked on the first date. Right. You know, now we're on the interview.
Right, yeah, it's about trying to make my mom already.
Yeah, you dug into my family's mental health and all that shit on the first date, and it just ain't supposed to be that way. But now that clock is ticking, and if you want, you had a schedule that you planned on that is kind of closing in on you. Now that urgency is different, and somebody who you normally might have vibed, but you ain't vibing with no more because your angle is off. You know, so for the women who are still young and looking for guys, or the mothers who got daughters in high school and college, there's nothing wrong with a girl in college finding guys, dating guys, and considering being serious with them. Most other races build together. You know, you get with your woman, one of you gets your master's, then the other one works until the other one finishes their master's, and then they both ball together. You know, as opposed to, I'm going to get all my shit, and then then I'm going to see who out here that got what I got. You know, that's just a different way to look at it, and it can really hinder your ability to find somebody that's worth something.
What you just said reminds me of the character that Taraji Henson played on,
Think Like a Man.
Yeah. That's how she was. She was out there, she balled, she got everything, and the only thing she was looking for was the guy who had just as much as she had.
Yeah.
See, and they just had that on 60 Minutes about 2 weeks ago. And they had all these successful black women. You had lawyers, accountants, you know, doing it real big. And the whole problem with them was they had that mentality, oh, I made it, I'm gonna fuck down. You know, so I got all this money and prestige and I'm looked at good, and now my equal has to have exactly what I have.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's okay for a man to, like you said, fuck down or date down,
but a woman
can't do that.
Yeah.
If you a doctor and I'm
Garbage man.
a garbage man, or even something else, I just don't make as much money as a doctor, right? Or if I'm in medical school, or if I'm a teacher, that's a respectable profession.
Yeah.
You can't fuck with me, but if it's the other way around, nobody's saying anything.
But overall, too, it goes to show the whole image and how black girls are being taught to perceive black men.
For sure.
You know, so like, let's say life was compared to pushing a car, right? And other races act like the men come in and push with them. You know, if not, say, hey, get in the car, I'll push. Black women act like the men come into their lives and sit in the car while they asses keep pushing. Yeah. You should never look at somebody, pairing up with somebody as something that's going to slow you down from accomplishing your goals. Because that's not a man anyway.
Right, if you realize that that's happening, you need to realize, I need to get the fuck away from you.
Right, it ain't no good anyway.
If your expectation of men is accurate, then getting into a relationship should have no bearing on how you feel you'll accomplish your goals. You get me? That shouldn't have an effect whatsoever. You know, I would never say, well, shit, I'm not going to get with a woman because I ain't going to make no money when I do. Shit don't make sense. You know, if I'm trying to get somewhere, my woman's not going to slow me down. That's separate, or it boosts me. Your woman is supposed to bring you up and help you accomplish your goals, and your man is supposed to do the same thing. And
they're supposed to bring out the best in you, not the worst in you. If they bringing out the worst in you, it was already there. But like you said, a good woman should be bringing out the best in you.
Yeah, and a man's supposed to do the same thing. So if you think a man is going to do the opposite, then it don't matter at what age you find a man, he's going to bring you down, because you expect to find that nigga who's going to bring you down.
And it was just a poor selection.
Right, he just still no good. You found out, move on.
Yeah, but you knew it from the beginning if you assumed that they bring you down in the first place. You know what I mean? If your assumption is that it's going to... I've had women tell me that they don't think they would have got their masters if they would have gotten married first. What type of dude are you looking for? If you don't think that a guy you meet and say, I want to get my masters, is going to be like, all right, baby, well, we can help you get your masters. You know what I mean? A real man is going to be like, all right, cool. Well, look, you know, we get together, we live together, we get married, whatever. I'll make sure you get that masters. We will make sure you get that masters. Right. That's what a real man is going to do.
Right. See, somebody who understood you getting your masters is going to understand that master is going to take a lot of time, and they're not going to be able to get no butt while you're studying and everything is complex. But that's having somebody who's your teammate and who understands the situation at the time.
Yeah.
Right. Also, I think one big thing is, like we kind of touched on before, single women need to maybe start listening to men a little bit more and stop listening to all they can't get a girl as friends or can't get a man as friends. Regardless if you like it or not, men don't tell you what they want.
Yeah.
You know what they want, don't want. You might not like it, but it's the truth.
It might be completely opposite to what you think they should want.
Right.
But that don't mean the shit is gonna change.
Right.
So a man's gonna want what a man's gonna want, and that's just what.
But a lot of the women, what they're gonna do is argue you down and tell you that's the wrong thing to want.
And then they're gonna find
that
one
the wrong
dude,
thing to want. You know what you want.
And they're gonna find the one dude who gonna say yeah, so you get some ass. To validate what they're saying.
Right.
That's true.
That's what I can't. I can't stand a woman that when she first meet a guy, right? She always come out the gate talking, "We not having sex. You're not gonna get no pussy."
Right. Or I'm abstinent right now. Some shit like that.
You talk that shit.
Telling me you abstinent. You can't fuck with me.
You talk that shit. Then we go out. We get a couple drinks. I talk that shit in your ear. I'm back at your house busting you out. You know what I'm saying? I done lost all respect for you.
Right. That's real. That's real.
You come on, you jump off the porch keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? Let's not even discuss sex.
Yeah, don't even say that. Don't say that.
And that's the real. You would have had your respect had she never said that.
Right.
A lot of women think that sleeping with a man early is gonna make him see her a certain kind of way. It is not that. It's putting forth an image.
It's the way you present yourself. You know what I'm saying?
You just contradicted everything you told me you was about in 12 hours.
It just went out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's honorable for you women to have sex on the first date. I think it's very honorable. That way, a man not sitting up there with blue balls and stuff. Come on, we know you're not 13 or 15 no more. It's all right. We eventually gonna have sex anyway. So why sit up and make me wait 2 weeks when you gonna give it to me anyway later?
Or if you ain't taking it there, don't take it there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't, like you said, don't mention it. Don't say nothing about it.
You ain't have to mention it.
Right.
Don't even say nothing about
The
it.
ass in the equation.
Yeah, just be adults.
Like this man said, if it happens, it happens. You go out on a date, if y'all attract to one another and it happens,
Right, but now
it
you look
happens.
silly.
It is what it is.
The first thing you wanted to say is, we ain't having sex. No, we ain't fucking.
Then motherfucker want to wake up in the morning. I can't believe what happened.
Or I've
never done that before.
I have all the time.
You took this motherfucking pipeline all the way up in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no mystery. Like, man.
So the kind of the moral of this whole conversation is, don't be the I don't do this all the time girl.
Yeah.
And nobody said you did, but don't even mention it.
Because a guy with some game knows the difference between a hoe and a good woman. No matter how fast.
Nigga know, man.
No matter how fast he got the ass or whatever you want to call it, you know. So if you're not a hoe, you got nothing to worry about no matter how things went down. And you can't listen to other women, especially about what makes a hoe. You know, I've heard, I was watching a YouTube show when these women were saying that if a white girl or Hispanic girl approaches a man, that's okay, but if a black woman does, that makes her a hoe. In whose book?
Right.
Not
the man's.
That shit is not true. Maybe other women that you're with will say, well, that just looks desperate, but that's the woman you're with. And men, I think probably everybody in here has been approached by a woman at some point, and we've never thought, oh, this chick is a hoe. Exactly.
Unless you
that's it. And so it has nothing to do with approaching men. It's fine to approach men. And as you get older, and here's the thing, if you want to be with a man, and I said this in the first video, act as if you want a man. Because, I mean, flat out, a lot of times women are only open to meeting people when they planned on meeting people when they left the house. Right? And so you got a whole section of life between the grocery store or whatever the case may be where you're not even presentable or approachable.
Right. You know, got your pajamas on and shit.
And you got the don't touch me vibe going on. So unless you've seen this guy and felt him before he saw you, you're unapproachable. You know, you got to be open all the time.
See, and people who get what they want, take what they want. They don't sit back and wait. If you see somebody that you want, you have to be aggressive enough to go up and talk to that person, get to know that person, and you know, you have a chance. But if you're just gonna sit back and wait because you're worried about what somebody that you'll probably never ever see again is thinking about you, or you might have another female that's looking and wish that maybe she was just as attractive as you were, and they won't do it either. You have to go up and get what you want.
Because what nobody says about that aggressive woman is she's gonna find a husband.
Oh yeah,
you know, they all may say she look desperate or that's tacky.
She ought to be going for what she knows.
But I guarantee you, give her a few years and she's gonna be getting married, and you're gonna be talking about, well, she was just a little too thirsty or too desperate. You know, it's about getting much.
And she's gonna find somebody that she wants because she's doing the approach.
Right.
If you see somebody you like, hey, I like I like him. It's all right. It look good. You gonna talk to him.
Exactly.
If you gonna let people contradict what you doing because of how they perceive you, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You already lost. You done lost.
Yeah.
So you should do what you don't do what other women say is bad. And do what's good for you.
And then it's a numbers game too. Because if you aggressive and you're not waiting, you might talk and get to know maybe 4 or 5 different people that night versus to sit back and wait one person that whole night.
The law of averages.
Letting people pick over you instead of you picking over them.
And you turning over stones.
The fact is too, most asshole guys play the numbers game. So if you're waiting to be approached, you got a much higher chance of running into an asshole than you do from running into a good dude. Because a good dude ain't out here talking to every girl he sees. So you can wink and blink at him and try to make him walk up to you, but a lot of good dudes are typically more shy or more introverted, or they just are in that certain social scenes that you look for to find a dude or find a woman.
But like I said, but a piece of shit guy, when you wink at him, he thinking sex.
There goes some ass. Yeah.
First thing he thinking.
Yeah. So
you can't approach that kind of. You know what I mean? If you do the winking, you gonna get the guy who wants sex.
And then that swag thing. I mean, the guy who's used to hollering at chicks is gonna have more swag. If you get a dude who walks up to you and he's a little stumbly and bumbly, I mean, it's a good sign that he ain't really out here like that.
Right.
You know,
I mean, used to doing
he might not be know what you just imagined as your dream guy. He ain't got the whole club on him or everybody after him to start, but he might be a really good, really decent dude. You know,
the thing is, like the thing is, man, like females. This is my whole theory. They all females. They all want Usher and Nia on paper. But they want 50 G's and Weezy to beat it up. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want. And if that's what you're looking for, that's what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? But you can't act as if you got to be raw and cut with it.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at the situation.
Definitely. Yeah. And again, you just can't be listening to other. That's like me going to a fat personal trainer.
Yeah.
You can't listen to other single women that have never had a man, never been. It's different if she's single because she had a good man and he died.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But a woman that has never been in a healthy relationship, that does not know what a healthy relationship is, can't tell you how to be in one. It's just not fucking possible. She doesn't know. She's guessing. You know, even if she has the best intention, it's a guess.
Yeah.
So you can't just listen to them. Another thing is, I think a lot of women, if you want to find a man, you have to stop being a bitch.
This is true.
Stop being a bitch. Like you talked about being unapproachable. When we go out on a date, if we go to Red Lobster, and you tell them you want some more biscuits, and it's pretty busy, the waiter or waitress forgets to bring the biscuits. Don't go crazy and start cussing people out and all that. Bitch, you embarrassing us.
Exactly.
And
Niggas got class, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying niggas got class. You know, another thing, females gotta quit playing that hard to get rolled.
Yes.
We not in high school no more. You know what I'm saying? So
if you winked at me and wanted me to approach you and I approach you, stop fighting.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm here now. I'm not gonna jump through no more loops when there's other women who are nice.
And they choosing from a mile away.
Men like nice.
Right.
Men like nice women. Men don't want hard things. We hard.
Exactly.
I kick it with y'all. But I want hard company. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna hang out with the guys.
Yeah, I don't want hard company at home in the bed with me. I like softness. I like niceness. That's different.
Another thing, women have to be more observant. If it's clearly there and it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Just like you see this dude, and dudes is hood rats too. So you see a dude and his hood rat niggas is all sitting up there on the corner eating cheese. You see them there. So do you think the one guy that you go talk to is different than the rest of the dudes?
Probably not.
They probably all hood rats. So you have to be aware of what you're looking at. I mean, it's present. We're not complicated animals. Another thing, look at some of these men's families. You see the family of a man and you can get pretty much a good idea of a man. Yeah. You know, you can see how he treats his mama, his sister, and the other women that surround him. You want to look at how his relationship is with the family.
And also if his parents are together, how his father treats his mother, or how the guy who's like his surrogate father is. You know, a lot of fathers aren't there, but guys mentor. That's one thing the black men will do. They'll take little guys in, whether they steering them down the path of glory or the path of shame, they'll mentor other guys. So there's always some man in some guy's life that you can kind of get a sense of how he is from, based on how the guy he idolizes is.
Man, like, females just got to, at the end of the day, man, it's just about, y'all got to know how to just be yourself and just keep it real.
Yeah, that's
like,
true too.
You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. Soon as a man see any signs of fakeness or you being fraudulent or being something you ain't, you gonna get fucked and dog. That's it.
Right.
Ain't gonna be nothing else to talk about. They gonna fuck you, they gonna dog you, and it's on to the next. Then you gonna be sitting up miserable and mad. He a dog, he was this, I seen the sound.
No good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Don't always just look at the man like he was just a dog. You gotta look at yourself too. No, don't get me wrong, it's some niggas out here that's, you know what I'm saying, they bought that life. They doggish. They from the gutter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then you got some stand up bona fide gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? But they not gonna let you run over them and be on no bullshit.
And you got some guys that's in the middle. Yeah. Depending on what they see, they gonna flick that switch on or off.
Turn it on.
They might say, you know what, she's cool, I'ma chill with her. But like you said, as soon as they see some sign of fakeness, you know what?
It's over with.
Fuck this. I'm dogging shit.
Yeah, and about being yourself, I got women that I know who are incredibly funny, great conversation, and we might have an event at the gym, and they'll bring a guy, and they're just quiet. They're quiet, they're not showing their personality, they're not showing who they really are. You know, and I've talked to some of them about it, and they'll say, well, you know, I don't want to scare them away and all. But the thing is this, if a guy is interested in 5 women and they all just pretty faces, he's just going to go for the prettiest face if you don't separate yourself.
That's it.
Right? So if you can make a whole room laugh up here when he's not around, make a whole room laugh when he is. Because a lot of guys, it's sad to say, don't expect a lot from women. You know, because women do often withhold who they are.
Yeah, baby girl, be yourself.
Yeah, a lot of
be true to yourself. It don't matter if you don't like it or not.
They really are.
Yeah.
And so they don't really expect women to have a lot of personality, or women to make them laugh, or women to be able to contribute to some of the things that he may talk to his boys about. But a lot of women have that information and they just keep it.
Exactly.
You know, so you got to actually use who you are, because ultimately that's just it's gonna come out.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. Yeah. Rather than me waiting to the 5th, 6th date to meet the real you, and I've been dating your representative all this time. Yeah. Let me know if I like you or not on the first date.
Yeah. Right.
If I don't like funny girls, we'll figure that shit out on the first date. We don't have to have a second one. Yeah. Or I might find out, damn, I really like her. You might not get to the point where you can be yourself, because I might have not liked your representative.
Yeah, and don't be mad if a dude disappears, because that's his way of saying that he's not what you want. You know, a lot of girls get mad like, well, he just stopped calling me. Well, good. That's good. Because the only other option was he'd have called you until he fucked you and then stopped calling you.
Yeah,
so just...
You got your answer.
Yeah, so just, you know, it's nothing wrong with him, because, you know, if you are in a mode when you're ready to settle down, it's gonna show. You know, if you want kids and you're talking about marriage, it's gonna show. And if he just got out of a relationship or just got divorced and he's ready to play, he's not going to be on that same page, and the guy's gonna just remove himself from the situation. He's not, most of the time, he's not gonna sit you down and say, hey, I just came through this, came through that, so you need something else. He's just gonna stop calling. So just let him stop calling, because what happens is if you keep calling, right, he's gonna get some ass first.
Cause he's gonna see you desperate. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. He tried
to walk away. You push the envelope. You're like, well, shit, I did my best. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my thing. You know, and so it is what it is.
Every question don't have to be answered.
Yeah,
sometimes if he ain't calling you, let him not call you.
Because closure is the dumbest thing ever invented. The whole word closure, the whole idea of closure. If people gave you closure, it wouldn't have been a reason to break up in the first fucking place, because they would be considerate. A lot of times you break up with people because they're inconsiderate. So if they were considerate enough to give you closure, it wouldn't have been a reason to break up. It wouldn't have been a reason to stop talking to whoever it is you stop talking to.
And look, another thing, like with the women, like, why some of y'all can't find a man, you know, y'all got to bring something to the table too. You know what I'm saying? You can't just...
Beyond stats.
Yeah. You know, you can't just expect for the man to just come out the pocket every time. I don't care if the nigga got paper or not. So make him feel appreciated sometime. Okay, he say, all right, I want to take you out to dinner. All right, boom, y'all go out to dinner. When the bill come, let him know, baby, I got this. It's on me on this go round. You know what I'm saying?
It's supposed to be a team.
It's supposed to be a team.
Because he gonna sit there and say, damn.
Yeah. Truthfully,
you know
even when your accountant's conducting, shit feels good.
Right. Not like my baby whipped out the car.
You know what I'm saying? Now you gonna get the wheels turning. Because now you're going to think, okay, it's time for a Louis purse. Right. It's time for a trip around the world. You know what I'm saying? New car. All that. But when you ain't contributing, bringing nothing to the table, nigga, like, shit.
You're a liability.
Yeah, nah.
She just want me to do everything.
I got to go and give me a sad chick. Somebody
Somebody to do the shit that she ain't doing. To feel that
she ain't doing. He might still love you, but he gon' get that sad chick where he's feeling appreciated. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all about the women feeling appreciated. Y'all gotta show y'all men that they're appreciated too at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think another thing kind of going, even kind of going back to what we were talking about with when you were saying just be yourself, is don't bait and switch.
Yeah.
A lot of women just bait and switch. Now, if we dating, you know, the sex is great and all of that.
Don't cut the sex.
Right, don't cut that off once you got me. Because like you just said, that's when the side chicks come into play.
Exactly.
Don't get me used to having sex 3 days a week and then go down to 3 days a year.
Yeah.
Because I still want to have sex 3 days a week.
Damn right.
So your bait and switch is going to hurt you worse than it's hurting anybody else. So just be yourself up front.
Yeah.
If you're not really into it, don't be into it at first.
Yeah, you never use sex as a punishment because a man is going
get sex.
Yes.
That's what he gonna go get sex.
He's gonna get sex.
Don't let him get that liquor ride. That liquor ride getting bought is over.
Right. Another thing women have to be aware of is they have to know their selves. A lot of women don't even understand themselves, then they try and get a man. First, they have to understand themselves and understand the poor choices that they have made in the past. Because if you keep making the same poor choices and trying to get a different result, it's going to be a failure.
Yeah, and going along with knowing yourself, you got to spend some time alone.
Yeah.
A lot of women will jump from, when they may say they with a guy, they halfway over, but they still living together. So don't date nobody. Don't date nobody until you got your own damn place.
Yeah.
I don't want a guy who's trying to accomplish something is not trying to hear you talk about how me and my ex are over, but we still live together.
Yeah, or 9 times out of 10,
with that shit.
Or 9 times out of 10, she gonna lie.
Yeah.
She gonna create a lie. Then when you create that lie, you gonna have to create another lie. Then once a nigga found out you the lie, now he gonna shit on you.
Right. Now you be talking about he ain't shit.
Not, you know what I'm saying? But you initiated the whole bullshit out the gate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Get clear, close doors completely before you open new ones. Don't jump from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Because if the guy got with you when you was on some halfway shit, he probably ain't shit anyway.
Right.
He either got a save-a-hoe mentality, or he got that grimy ass,
Or he
like that drama shit. Cause
or he just gonna make you a side chick permanent.
Or you fit perfectly to be a side chick because he know that since you still got this other nigga in the picture, he only got to allocate half time to you.
You only got to do so much.
Right. I only got to give you half because
I can't really take you out.
Right.
It's a sweet position, but that's what you're looking for.
You get your shit together with your other dude, and then I get back to you.
Exactly.
Perfect situation for that dude.
Definitely. I mean, so it's about being consistent and being realistic with your expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women, just be realistic with your expectations. Know that if you are in a situation like that, you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out of a relationship. If you do choose to date somebody else, don't expect them to be head over heels serious, and don't expect them to be faithful.
Yeah.
Or, y'all might not even be together like that, but don't expect him not to see anybody else when you live with somebody.
Yeah.
And
that's not happening.
And don't expect monogamy if monogamy wasn't discussed. But be all the way real. A lot of women have told me, well, when we started having sex, he wasn't supposed to have sex with nobody else. Unless you told him that and he said okay, that shit is not a golden rule. That's not a standard to anything. Because a lot of women have sex with more than one person at one time, and men do too. Until y'all have sat down and said it's just gonna be us, don't condemn men and women. Don't condemn the other person for being out here with somebody else because it has to be established. Don't guess.
Yeah, you gotta establish
Don't make assumptions.
Establish the boundaries, and then be honest with yourself too. Is this guy gonna be the type of dude that's gonna be faithful? Cause be honest, you know what type of niggas you fucking with in the beginning. Right. You know, you only fooling yourself. Shit.
I mean, and if you choose to stay with somebody that isn't, you gotta ask yourself, am I willing to accept that or not? Yeah. It's okay if you are, if it's okay with you. At the end of the day, you gotta look yourself in the mirror. Yeah. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, but just be honest with yourself. If you know he's got side chick, whatever, and that's what you choose to accept it.
Yeah.
But they don't want going through his phone and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you find a man who you just comfortable, you just want to have sex with him, you know, bring it to the table, let him know, don't give mixed signals. If you just want to bust a nut and feel good, make him strap that motherfucker up and y'all get it in. You know what I'm saying? But don't create extra problems like, you know, you want a relationship, you want to do this, and that ain't really what it is.
Right, and he probably told you in the beginning.
All the time.
Strap it up though. That's another.
Oh, you gotta strap it up.
Yeah. Guys, if one thing about a good dude, if you don't suggest condoms, if he could tell you was gonna let him pill without a condom, a dude with some sense is not fucking with
Man, bitch, if you show me signs that you would let me slide in this out the gate without no verification on my meat.
Exactly.
It's gonna be all respect is out the window.
It's a comedian. I can't remember the damn comedian, but it was so funny that he was talking about when he engaged with a woman and he going along and he getting to the point and he like, you ain't gonna make me put a condom in? And he in his mind saying, thinking, she nasty. She nasty the whole time. But he's still doing it. Right. He's like, oh, she nasty. And then damn, there's no respect. And he's not gonna call you back. That's it.
Like you said earlier, and know your role too. If you a side piece, stay being a side piece. Don't try to enter into these new roles. You're the side piece.
Without the discussion.
Yeah.
No, you just stay a side piece.
Yeah, they gotta, you know, strapping up is a must. Like, you know, that if you let me come out the gate, we first about to get down, you let me hit you without one. That's how you get down. That's your MO. That's your forte. You let niggas, you know, go up in you raw, and that's what it is. And these days and times, I got a whole bunch of young little goons, and that's all they do is slide up in shit without no rubbers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I be telling them like, man, y'all don't love y'all life. Like, I'm cool and I don't want to go down that road. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And females should have the same outlook. Because you let a nigga hit raw don't mean he love you. Yeah. That just mean
he like the feeling.
That's it.
That's it.
They feel better without one.
That's stupid.
Yeah, stop that with you, shit.
So I guess in summary, one thing to take away from this is for the young girls, look early. I mean, a lot of mothers don't. Well, I've heard women whose fathers and mothers have told them, well, just take care of you first and get with a guy. Taking care of you can take care of you while getting with a guy. Yes. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. They like to say that black men aren't looking for wives and all that in college, but that's where a lot of them met their wives of a different color. You know, a lot of the guys who marry outside their race met their women in college. So that's not necessarily true. It's just that a lot of black women aren't thinking wife in school. So as a result, men aren't thinking finding wife in school. Exactly. Well, the fact is, most men ain't thinking finding wife until a woman tells them that's what they're thinking anyways. Shit. So if that's what you if you want to be somebody's wife, you can go ahead and start early. Not saying you need to be getting married at 21, 22, 23, but go ahead and start getting with the guys who have potential and putting them in your life so that when y'all settle down, y'all can't end up
and start like you said, start identifying these gentlemen early in the games, real early. I mean, you can see the potential in people early. Yeah. So don't wait to the last minute and dude about to blow up, because then you late to the party. You need to go when he a sleeper cell. When he people slept on him is when you need to jump on that bus and grab that dude.
And also, like we said, start listening to men. If you got some men in your life that you can respect their opinions or what they have to say, even the dogs. There's a lot that even the dog do that can tell you. A dog will tell you how he recognizes a hoe. That'll at least tell you what not to do. Exactly. And like we said, stop listening to single women. That's we touched on that a lot. That's super important. Yeah. And stop being a bitch. Like we said, stop being a bitch. Be open. Be approachable. And the reason why you don't want to listen to single women or a woman wants advice from men over women is to be all the way real. Most women aren't thinking about men until they got a man that they're serious about.
men are thinking about women from the age of 2 until they die. So men study women their whole damn life.
Yeah,
right? Women are more centered on other stuff. Men are focused. Everything that happens in this world, from a man's perspective, happens indirectly or directly because of women. So a man will always be able to tell you more about getting a man as a woman than a woman will, flat out. A lot of times a man will be able to tell a man more about getting a woman than a woman can, just because it's what he's done his whole life. It's been his focus his whole life.
His decisions, his clothes, the swag, everything, a lot of times is off of man thinking about women.
Yeah.
But don't get it twisted though. A lot of women got game though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They can give the right woman can give the right nigga, not even the right nigga, the right woman can just give a man some game.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that woman is invaluable because again, that representative is always there a lot of times instead of that woman who's gonna give you the real.
Exactly.
And most women don't listen to that woman.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's a harder choice.
Right.
It's like exercise. A lot of people join the gym and want me to tell them that they can eat pizza and drink pop.
Right.
You know, and so they want to go somewhere else until somebody says
You can eat pizza and drink pop.
yeah. But it's never gonna be the case. You're never gonna get what you want unless you do some stuff that's hard and less ideal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's real.
we gotta put your work in.
You got to. At the end of the day, it's not gonna be an easy task. Building a relationship is not an easy task. For my brothers here that's married, they can let y'all know it's not easy. But as long as you stay persistent and consistent and you want it, it'll happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, another big thing is really just being yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Your own personality, your own characteristics, just be yourself.
Unless yourself is fucked up. Then be somebody else.
Fix yourself.
Yeah. Find somebody else to be in that.
Emulate her.
Right.
For life.
Keep Beyonce.
If yourself is a bitch or if yourself doesn't like to bathe or something like that, you're the wrong person.
Right.
Find somebody else to be.
Bad self.
Right.
Yeah, reinvent yourself.